Well, they've locked us in. I guess that means it's time for me to give a presentation. Now, I'm a little bit different. I'm more from the clinical side of things. Right now, I work over at University of South Carolina, Aiken as a faculty member. Before that, about 10 to 15 years on the private sector doing technology and stuff like that. Right now, I'm actually at the University of Florida going for my doctorate. So this is my dissertation. It is not finished. I am doing research on it as we are going. And I hope that we can keep this more light and interactive. If you see something, ask a question, because my chair is going to ask that same question, and I need to have an answer for it, so I'd rather it be with you guys. So basically right now we're going to talk about the role of digital transformation in e-commerce. We're going to look how organizations adapted during a pandemic. Now, like I said, I am mostly clinical, so the theory that I put in here is minor, but it does play right into my hypothesis and everything that's going on. So why did I choose this? Well, because I like making money. So I'm a business major, and I wanted to figure out, during the pandemic, everything I invested in did poorly, and everything I didn't did amazing. So I was thrown off. It's amazing that something happened of such magnitude and caused such drastic changes that I could not even make a prediction. Car prices went up. No one was even going out, but we didn't have the microchips, so we had a supply chain issue. So that kind of gave me the benchmark of what I wanted to look at and how I wanted to figure out what to do with this. And digital transformation with AI, cloud computing, LLMs, everything that we talk about today, such a strong segment of our market now that we really do need to look at how it was implemented, what was going on with it. And when I was doing my research, what I found is that most of the research in this field was actually done on healthcare and not businesses themselves. So I figured I would take a look at that. So I have some key questions. The biggest ones are this. I wanted to know if a company implemented AI during the pandemic time from 2020 to 2022. I wanted to know if they implemented cloud services to do things so that you didn't have to be in an office or together. So I wanted to look at those two things. And as my research has gone on, I have found a lot of great statistical and data facts that I wasn't even ready for. One, we have to look at what if they did both. Obviously, some companies did. Amazon is a great one. What if they did only one, but it helped them more than somebody that else did it? So how do we actually figure that out? And when we're looking at these research questions, we have to look at how we're going to actually study this and how we design our study. And I'll give you a quick understanding of what I decided to do. I needed to be able to get data. I needed it to be valid. And I didn't want to have to go out and try to do surveys or contact companies because we all know that's not going to work. So I'm using, basically, I'm going to scrub data from the SEC files of 10K filings of all the S&P 500 companies. We'll be able to look at any of their quarterly and annual reports that will give us all return on sales. It'll give us net worth. It'll give us research and development. It also gives us the SIC code so I can see what industry they're in, why they're performing. One of the things that I'm looking at is the confounders on this because we do have so many different fields that the S&P covers. Are they in automotive? Do they do technology? Are they a service provider or are they a product provider? We want to be able to separate those out so that we can look at similar different industries inside of those. So a lot of my research we'll be looking at the difference in difference approach. We will be doing regression analysis on this. Why is it important that we do this? Well, I think that we all should know what happens in the past because that tends to repeat itself. And if it doesn't, we need to know what the difference is. I know when this happened, I didn't expect some of the things that happened and how they occurred and the shutdown. So I want to be ready for the next one, and mostly because financially, as a business person, I would like to make smart and wise business decisions. So I've got two hypotheses. One is that companies that adopted AI technologies will be more operationally efficient and have better return on assets. The second one is e-commerce business that invested in cloud computing experienced fewer disruptions in supply chains and order fulfillment. Now, when we're looking at these, there is the third one that I have not added to this yet because, like I said, this is a work in progress. It feels like every day for 8 hours, I look at this so that I can try to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing and what's right and wrong. The next one is obviously, if they implemented both, I think that they will be superior than one that implemented one or the other or none. So we'll use none as the null when we're going through this. Methodology. This is where we get to talk about theory. We'll talk about it very quickly. I use dynamic capabilities theory, which is DCT. It fits this perfectly, and all DCT really says is during an event in society, if a company can either implement resources, technology, or some other way of doing business, that they will be superior. And that is exactly fitting what we're looking at. So I think that that's a good way that we look at it. It's a good theory to kind of framework everything that we're looking at. And I am hoping, by my hypotheses, that DCT holds true, and those will be actually factual. So I mentioned that we're looking at the S&P 500. We've got 10Ks in there during the COVID times. It makes it a very reliable source to be able to pull this information from. I will be using some coding, Python, for the data scraping of it. Words and CompuStats are also there, and they will give me that data that I can collect it from. There will be a little bit of manual coding to be able to pull out actual words, and I believe in the next one, we talk about some of the words that we'll look for. Now, I will tell you, my list went from, we've got 8 there. I think I'm now up to like 17 to 22, something like that, and we keep checking it just to verify that we are getting all terms that are needed to be able to say this company had implemented it during that time. In the 10K, it actually has a section for the shareholder announcements, stakeholders information, and that's where we're pulling any information from that would link them to either AI or cloud computing. So it's a good way to be able to pull it. It's maybe it's not the most effective way because there are possibilities that they never made the announcement. But unfortunately, to be able to try to figure out any way to do this statistically, I run into a lot of errors. So this was the way that I got my chair to say, okay, I think that this is possible and that we'll be able to pull that information. Once again, if you guys have anything during this, if you think of something and want to shout it out, by all means, feel free. Yes?
How did you come up with the list of terms?
That actually wasn't the correct list of terms. That was more of my methodology for it. I don't know if I did not put in the correct list of terms, but I can always send that to you if you just wanted to see. I am looking to make sure that it's correct and that I have everything up. In fact, as we get done, I can pull up my dissertation, which has it all in there, and we can look at those real quickly. I know that we're all short for time. All right, so let's just fly through this contributions to literature. Obviously, by doing this, this will help by supporting DCT. It'll also help in the clinical or applied area to be able to see that doing something and the reactive ability of it made a difference. It's nice to be able to quantify that and not just say, I feel like this did a good job. One of the things that we always look for in the workforce is to be able to say, it did work and here's why. So being able to prove that will definitely help with all of that. Follow-up work, I haven't even really got to this. This was part of my dissertation proposal so that they could see that after this there is a lot more work to do. I will tell you from the time that I wrote this to the time now, I can see a lot more information being pulled from this and being able to look at so differently. One of the most amazing things to me is Amazon. Now we all know Amazon does cloud. I mean, that's one of their big, AWS. One of the huge things they do. In 2000, there was no mention in any of their shareholder information about AI or cloud computing. In 2021, they mentioned it over 80 times. So it is very interesting information to see that in 2020, nothing was mentioned. 2021, it was mentioned. As we look back, 2020 started the pandemic. Obviously, they wanted to make sure that they were staying ahead of the curve and being part of that. So really good information is coming out of it, and I'm actually kind of excited to do it. Pulling the data and actually analyzing the data, I'm not looking forward to as much. It sounds like I'm going to be using SAS and SPSS quite a bit, so we'll see how that works out for me, but I think that it will be something good. Let's see. questions, and I do want to pull this up real quick for us. I won't bore you with the full dissertation, but I will bring up the key terms. Conceptual models, gosh, all this fun stuff they teach. All right, so for artificial intelligence, these are the key terms. Oh. Well, now I've lost my controls.
The screen must be extended.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can. Yeah, got that. All right. Oh.
Changes.
Let's try this one. Did that work? Yes. That way I can keep both open. Or not. All right, finally. So those are the ones that I'm looking for artificial intelligence. Most of them, the thing that I've learned trying to go through and trying to scrape data is that the simpler the better, but then you get so much that could be not correct. So it's a fine line between how much you actually are going to put in there to be able to tell if it truly is, or if it's too light and then you get too much. So trying to figure that out has been a challenge, and for artificial intelligence, this is where we sit. If you guys have any ideas or if you're seeing something that should be added, please by all means say anything. For cloud computing, I've got these out there. I even had to insert the word cloud by itself. That one, unfortunately, can come back with other things depending on the company. So we really do have to work on scrubbing that one. But we did find that sometimes they use cloud with totally different terms because it could be homegrown or it could be some different way of doing it. Obviously, like with AWS, you have to have Azure in there and all of the other key terms. So it made it a real challenge to be able to pull some of this up and just scrape it where I don't have to go through 2,800 files.
Do you have machine learning in the AI list?
Deep learning, machine learning, yes. Yeah, good. Because that one definitely needed to be there if it wasn't, so thank you.
Yeah, I have a question here about the quantitative approach or design that you chose at the beginning. Why didn't you choose a mixed method approach employing both qualitative, quantitative?
My first proposal was more qualitative than quantitative.
Okay.
They said because, well, obviously I am trying to graduate and get out of there. By the time that I was able to get enough of the qualitative to go with the quantitative, I'd probably be pushing it for 2 years instead of the year I have left. So that is something that I want to do further. Getting in with some of these companies has been a little bit of a challenge because that is where I started with that. But it's really, so like I said, this is very simplistic, but I have to have something that I can actually show them, that I can do the research, I can gather data, and then I can analyze it and put it out. But yes, something that would probably come after this.
Is NVIDIA on your list of companies?
Yes, a huge company for this, especially,
Exponential explosions.
well, yes, especially with their video cards and now their AI computing that they're doing. Yeah, so NVIDIA is definitely one of the S&P 500s. Any other questions? Well, I do, yes.
So along with AI and machine learning, you might want to add LLM. Oh, sorry, that's all I have.
That NLP.
I do need, it doesn't have it. I will add that, and I'm also going to add now large language model, because otherwise one will use it and one won't. So thank you. Dr. Winnington, just remind me to do that. Thank you.
In the same vein, you might want to consider Gen AI or generative AI.
And now that I'm even thinking about AI agent, probably is one that is really coming up that should be added to it. And this is the greatest thing about one of the presentations like this. Having me sit there every day and do it, you're looking at it, you get so tired of it. This is the type of stuff that kind of gets you to where you can think about it, brainstorm it, and hear it. So yes, thank you. Any other ideas, thoughts?
The microphone is, because they're recording the session, so they just want to make sure that all the audio comes through. So it's not that they don't think you're talking loud enough, but the audio session might not.
Will we have access to these?
A recording?
Yeah.
I can ask for it.
Perfect.
But it'd be audio, we're not video.
That's fine. Just so that I can go through, I can send it to chat and it'll give me the outline.
So there's terms around agency,
Yes.
right? And I heard one recently, which I can't remember, but this is becoming a thing about curbing the agency of agents, right? So they can't just totally go off the map, and it's a serious concern. And it was kind of a pithy term. I wish I could think of it. But,
I think that's a good one to add in there. It's like AI agent, agency, see if it pulls anything for the AI side of it. But that's a whole nother level too of when we actually allow the agent and how much we allow it to do.
Yep.
I started to do some research on that, and it's very fascinating.
It is. And scary.
Yes and no, I guess. I still don't think that AI is at the point that it's going to just take over, but I think that if we keep playing with everything, as humans like we do, we will push the envelope until it's at the point. We studied the collider where they proved that they could actually teleport a molecule, right? And there was a 50-50 chance. It either did it or we created a black hole. They still did it. Now, obviously, we could be in a black hole, I guess, but obviously that didn't happen, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But it is science, and we do like to see where we can go, which is fascinating to me. I know, I'm a nerd. Well, thank you guys so much. This really has been helpful. It's really helpful for me to just be able to get up here and talk about my dissertation and get that out. So I thank you guys all for sitting through this with me.